Ravi had always been the pillar of strength for everyone around him. At 29, he was the man people turned to for guidance. Whether it was his family, his friends, or even strangers, Ravi had this way of making people feel heard and seen. But on the inside, he was crumbling. Every day it felt like the weight of the world was pressing down on him, but no one knew. He didn't want anyone to see the cracks. He went through the motions, smiling, laughing, pretending everything was fine. But deep inside, Ravi was drowning. Every morning, getting out of bed felt like climbing a mountain. The heaviness of his thoughts kept him trapped, and no matter how much he tried to fight it, the darkness kept getting deeper. One afternoon after a long day at work, Ravi found himself standing by the window, looking out at the bustling streets below. The world seemed so far away, and yet it was so close. He wanted to scream, to break down and let it all out. But there were no tears left, just emptiness. It was then that his grandmother, Aji, called. She had always been his greatest support. Her voice, calm and steady, seemed to cut through the silence that surrounded him. "Ravi," she said softly, "do you remember when you were a little boy? How you always used to look for the brightest star in the sky?" Ravi blinked, his voice shaking. How could he have forgotten? "Yes, Aji, I remember. But that was so long ago." "You see, my dear," Aji continued, "there will be days when it feels like the sky is filled with only dark clouds. Days that feel like they'll never end." She paused, her voice steady, almost like a whisper in the wind. "But Ravi, the star is always there, even when you can't see it." Ravi's breath caught in his chest. The star. Could it be true? Could there really be light even when everything around him felt so dark? "I don't know how to find it, Aji. It feels like I'm lost in the darkness. I don't know who I am anymore." Aji's words came slow but strong. "You don't need to find the light all at once, Ravi. Sometimes you only need to take one small step. One step out of the dark, even if you can't see the way. The light will find you." For the first time in months, Ravi felt a flicker of hope. Could it really be that simple? Just one small step? We often think that overcoming the darkness requires a grand transformation, a dramatic shift. But sometimes it's just about taking that first step forward, no matter how small, toward healing. The light doesn't have to be obvious at first. It's hidden in the small moments, the quiet acts of kindness, and the people who are there for us, even when we're too lost to see them. The next morning, Ravi took that first step. It was small, just a walk around the block, but it felt like something had changed within him. He didn't know it then, but that small step was the beginning of his journey back to himself. Every day after, he would take another step, and little by little, the light began to return. The darkness was still there, but now he knew the way out. It was one step at a time. As Ravi continued his journey, he learned that each day brought new challenges, but also new opportunities for growth. And while the path wasn't always easy, he discovered simple steps that helped him navigate the darkness, one small action at a time. One evening, after a particularly hard day, Ravi sat with Aji once more. She knew the struggles he was facing, how the darkness sometimes felt overwhelming. "Ravi," she said with a knowing smile, "I know you're still finding your way, but there are a few things I want you to remember. Little steps that can help guide you when the road gets tough." Ravi listened closely, his heart open to whatever wisdom Aji had to offer. The first step is to acknowledge the pain. It's easy to deny how we're feeling or try to push it away. But facing the truth of our emotions, even if it's hard, is the first step to healing. You don't have to fight it, Ravi. Just acknowledge it. Say, "I'm feeling this way right now." That simple act of recognition helps us understand ourselves. Ravi nodded, taking this in, acknowledging the pain. It sounded so simple, yet so powerful. He had been trying so hard to ignore it for so long. "Second," Aji continued, Do something small for yourself each day. Even if it's as simple as taking a walk outside, drinking a glass of water, or sitting in silence for 5 minutes. When we're depressed, we lose sight of even the smallest acts of self-care. But these small things, Ravi, they add up. Ravi reflected on this. A walk, a glass of water, it felt manageable. He could do that. And he realized those tiny acts of care might be the most important thing he could do for himself. The third step, Aji said softly, is to reach out. It's easy to isolate yourself when you're struggling, but you don't have to go through this alone. Call a friend, talk to a family member, or seek professional help. Reaching out isn't a sign of weakness, it's an act of strength. Aji's words struck a chord with Ravi. Reach out. He had been holding his pain inside for so long, afraid to burden anyone. But now he understood. Talking to someone wasn't a weakness, it was a bridge to healing. Lastly, Ravi, Aji said gently, remember that it's okay to take your time. Healing doesn't have a set timeline. There will be days that feel heavy, and that's okay. What matters is that you keep moving forward, no matter how small the steps are. Ravi took a deep breath. Take my time. It felt like such a relief to hear that. For the first time in a long while, he felt like he didn't have to rush, didn't have to fix everything at once. If you're feeling lost or overwhelmed by the weight of depression, know this. You don't have to fight it all alone, and you don't need to have all the answers right now. Start with these small steps, period. Acknowledge your pain. Give yourself permission to feel what you feel. Take small actions of self-care. Even the tiniest gestures like drinking a glass of water can help you start to rebuild. Reach out for support, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a professional. Asking for help is a sign of strength. Give yourself time. Healing takes time, and it's okay to move at your own pace. The light is always there, hidden within you. You don't need to find it all at once. Take it one step at a time, and you'll begin to feel the warmth again. Just like Ravi, your journey is unique, and every small step you take brings you closer to the light. No matter how deep the darkness may seem, the journey toward healing starts with acknowledging where you are. It's okay to not have all the answers today, and it's okay to ask for help. Take each day at your own pace and trust that, one step at a time, you will begin to see the light again. You are not alone. There is always hope.